here, and today we're going to brew a little bit of coffee. I'm just going to show you again just kind of basic brewing methods, techniques, how to get some really good coffee at home. I am not at home, I'm at the shop, but everything I do here this morning will kind of apply. You just may have to, you'll use different equipment to kind of figure things out. But I want to show you this new dripper. This is the December dripper, a brand new dripper. What's interesting here, let me see if I can show you this little bit of technology. See those holes right there? So you can dial this, you can move this to open your flow rate. So you've got a little set of holes inside there, and by spinning the base of this here, you can basically open up the flow rate. You can have the coffee drip very slowly, or you can open it up, have it drip at kind of a normal rate. So that's pretty cool. Trying this out. Beautiful stainless steel. It's got this little silicone thing here so it doesn't get too hot to handle, which is nice. Using a Kalita Wave filter here. So if you're familiar with the Kalita Wave brand dripper stuff, that's what we're going to use to filter that. All right, so I got my little scale here. Try to do this to where you can kind of see everything that's going on, even if you can't see my sexy mug in the process. This is actually a little bit of coffee from the Angel's Cup subscription. So I get 4 of these little bags of coffee every couple of weeks, and it's always fun to taste some new really good coffee. I'm just going to weigh this out in my filter here. These are whole beans, so haven't been ground yet. I've only got 10 grams of that left. They only send you about 30 grams or so. So I've got 10 grams of that left. I'm going to grind that real quick. So there we go, just ground that up, 10 grams of this coffee. I don't even know what it is because they kind of let you do like a blind tasting. So it's fun to just taste the coffee, identify different flavor characteristics and stuff, and then afterwards you can actually figure out who roasted it, where the coffee's from, that sort of thing. When I do some kind of pour over at home, I basically have my dripper device, the filter, coffee. I use a scale, a little gram scale, to weigh out the coffee. And sometimes I brew straight into a mug. You could do that. You know, if you got your favorite mug, you can just put the dripper on there and brew straight into that. I like using this little range server, just a little piece by Hario. So I'm going to set the range server, everything on the scale. Got a little hot water. I'm going to rinse out the filter. So I just added a little hot water to the filter. I'm rinsing out paper taste. I'm also heating up the vessel, getting the dripper and the vessel warm, so that as you're brewing the coffee, you don't lose a lot of temperature and heat in the transfer, you know, of using cold objects. So that's always something you want to be careful of when you're brewing coffee, is temperature stability. All right, so this is rinsed out, ready for coffee. I got my 10 grams. I'm going to tear the scale to 0. All right, so here we go. I've got everything set up. I'm going to change the angle here just a second so you can see exactly what I'm doing. I've got it teared to 0 on the scale. The ground coffee's in there. I've already rinsed and used some hot water to preheat everything and rinse it out. Then I dump that water out, and so everything's empty again, but it's warm and it's rinsed and ready to go. So now I've got my hot water at about 200 to 203 degrees, and now I'm going to basically add just the proper volume of water. Initially, when you're doing a pour over like this of fresh roasted coffee, you want to add just a little bit of water, 30 to 50 grams perhaps, and just give the coffee some time to degas. And so we call this the bloom. Now this coffee is not doing a whole lot here. There's not a lot of activity there in terms of degassing. You'll usually see it kind of bubble, and you'll see the coffee grounds expand a little bit. So maybe we're getting a little close to a week past the roast date on this coffee, and you significantly lose a lot of that activity at this point. So anyway, I started with 10 grams of coffee, so I'm basically going for then 150 to 160 grams of water adding here. This is a pretty small amount for this dripper, and I've got it set on a fairly slow drip, just one of the holes open. Actually, I just opened that to 2 of the holes now. Again, this is the December dripper, which we just ordered from Prima Coffee, just down in Louisville, Kentucky, but you can go to prima-coffee.com and get yourself one of these. And now we're just going to go till we get to about 150 grams. Just a little bit more. There you go. Now we're just going to let that finish kind of dripping out there. All right, so that's it. We had the December dripper. Just brewed that into my little server here. And if you're brewing that at home, you can just brew it, again, straight into a mug, so you don't have to, you kind of skip this step. Just pour it into the mug of choice and enjoy.